office. This is surely an office. Oh, look, a letter, just for me. A surprise party for me?
Oh God, oh dear, what happened here? Someone call a doctor!
Yep, just as I expected. Anthrax.
Anthrax?
Yes, anthrax. You see, anthrax is a little rod-shaped bacterium with the fancy name of Bacillus anthracis. You two seem to be infected with inhalation anthrax specifically. You see, there were anthrax spores in the white powder that you congressmen seem to love to be snorting. When you two snorted that powder, you breathed in anthrax spores. It usually takes 1 day to 1 week for the symptoms to start appearing. That's when the anthrax spores germinated in your lungs. If you two were infected with inhalation anthrax, you would experience a myriad of symptoms like nausea, fever, chills, sweats, confusion, shortness of breath, and most of all, nausea. Congressman 1 here seemed to die immediately for comedic effect, but if this were real life, it would take 1 week after you first start experiencing symptoms to up to 2 months after you first started experiencing symptoms to die. We better get you to a hospital quick, Congressman 2. Inhalation anthrax is one of the most dangerous forms of anthrax. The prognosis is grim even with the right medical attention.
Well, hopefully these cuts on my hands aren't any foreshadowing or anything. We must find out who did this.
Talk to the FBI. I'm sure they'd love to find out who did this.
Do they ever find out who did this?
Just talk to the FBI.
That looks really good. Oh, yes. Ah! What are you doing here in the FBI agent's office?
Were you looking at corn?
No. No.
Like the band?
Oh, yeah. What are you doing in here, though?
Take a look at this letter. No, I mean like inside of it.
Anthrax.
Anthrax. Anthrax. Anthrax. Anthrax.
9/11 was just a week ago. This could be a bioterrorism attack.
Bioterrorism? We must get to the bottom of this.
Oh no. 5 dead and 17 infected. This is serious. Time doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, this is serious. If those letters got sent through the mail, then a lot of people are in danger. You see, anthrax doesn't spread like our common cold or flu. It's not airborne. It spreads through bodily fluids or any other way that anthrax can get into your body. We've already seen what it can do with inhalation anthrax, but we have a few more coming up. But this is horrible. If people get their mail and open their letters, then a bunch of anthrax spores will fly into the air, making it really easy for them to breathe it in. And Dr. Chu, get in here, I need you.
So if I cough in the FBI agent's face, he won't catch my anthrax?
No, that would never be a good idea. What did I just want from you?
Oh, well, what if he spits in my...
What? FBI agent, why would you even want that? Look, Congressman 2, you're already showing signs of cutaneous anthrax.
Oh, you think my anthrax is cute?
Quite the opposite, actually. So, the anthrax spores are naturally occurring in our soil, but they're inactive until they find their way into a host. The host can be either a human or another hooved animal, which is very important for later. When you shoved your face into the letter, you snorted tons of anthrax, which allowed it to germinate into your lungs. The waste products are harmful toxins that cause internal bleeding, swelling, and tissue death among all forms of anthrax, and each form of anthrax carries its own symptoms specific to it.
There's more than one form of anthrax? And should I get to a hospital?
Yes, and yes. Anthrax infections are named after how anthrax gets into the body. You seem to be developing signs of cutaneous anthrax. Lucky for you, it's the least dangerous form of anthrax. You see, anthrax gets into your skin through your open wounds, and it leaves like little painless black raised sores that can be accompanied by some swelling. That's because it necrotizes your skin and some of the skeletal muscle underneath. But don't worry, if you get the right antibiotic and antitoxin treatment, you should recover just fine. But if you leave it alone, it will kill you.
Is this new? Has anthrax been around for a while?
As I said, it is naturally occurring in our soil. Before Americans fell victims to anthrax via bioterrorism, people all over the world who work with animals infected with anthrax themselves, farming in places with anthrax in their soil, or eating undercooked meat of an animal who is infected, would get infected themselves.
What?
Oh no.
What a wonderful segue into our other type of anthrax, gastrointestinal anthrax. Tell me, Congressman, was that burger cooked well done? Gastrointestinal anthrax happens when you eat raw or undercooked meat of an animal infected with anthrax. With the right treatment, there's only a 60% survival rate. We need to get you to the hospital now.
Well, guess since I'm alone, I'm gonna get back to a little bit of work now.
Yes, a hospital. We're in one. Yes, a hospital. That we are in. We are in a hospital.
Yes, this is a hospital. What brings you in, Dr. 1 and Dr. 2? And what's up with your friend?
My friend here, he has all 3 forms of anthrax.
He what? He has inhalation anthrax, cutaneous anthrax, and he just ate an anthrax burger. Holy cow!
That cow was anything but holy.
Listen, let's get him down on the bed. You only have a day to 2 months to live.
That sounds extremely threatening, but also not threatening at the same time.
What are your symptoms?
Well, my skin is dying, I'm about to vomit up some blood, and I'm extremely tired.
His gastrointestinal anthrax has his face and neck all flushed, and he's been vomiting and blood and having bloody diarrhea, and I can't imagine his upper gastrointestinal tract and how much anthrax toxins there's in there. We better get him some help before this gets out of hand.
See, penicillin was used to treat anthrax. That was around the 1940s. The good days. That was until Louis Pasteur made an anthrax vaccine in 81. That is 1881 for you. Of course, there was a new vaccine in 1950, and that wasn't really tested on humans. Of course, then there was a modified version that was used on humans as we kind of went away from using animals.
When were you born? Are we just gonna gloss over that?
Quick, hook him up to some. And because these are powerful antitoxin therapies, and they will help prevent any damage that has occurred or prevent anything else from occurring. And we need a strong antibiotic like doxycycline and ciprofloxacin. We need to keep him on those for 60 days because anthrax germination can be up to 60 days. And he needs to be connected to a ventilator for his inhalation anthrax due to how the cells work and the fluid building up in his lungs. The way the cells work is their toxin causes the cells to become hyperactive and use up all their stored chemical energy. And then what will happen is the cells will die, releasing tons of water, causing edema to the affected cells. Can you see how this is bad for your lungs?
Oh, nurse, I think you used the wrong needle. Well, we have some bad news for you, Congressman 2. That rhymed.
Can you be serious about one thing?
We've been the only serious ones about this situation since the Congressman's office.
I found who did it. I know who did it. The Americans attacks. I know who did them.
I don't think it was that Hatfield guy. I think he actually just won a $5.2 million settlement due to the libel, slander, and defamation on his name. I think he's innocent.
Okay, but what about Chrissy Evans? He's a scientist working with the government, and he's closely related to the letters.
It's him, Brucey Evans. Convict him before he can get away.
Dang it, just committed suicide. Can't convict him anymore. Well, guess my job is done.
Why are we standing here talking when this man has every form of anthrax? Injection anthrax is very serious because it can be just as dangerous as inhalation anthrax. Usually people get injection anthrax by using dirty needles to inject drugs such as heroin. See, injection anthrax is really dangerous because it can get into your bloodstream immediately because of the direct access that it has, and it just is able to flow to all of your body, infecting it immediately. It's very hard to treat, even with the right antitoxin and antibiotic treatment, and the prognosis is very grim, just as inhalation anthrax is. But one thing that's cool is it's the only post-Amerithrax form of anthrax, and it was found in 2010. Pretty neat, huh?
So, what's gonna happen to me?
Honestly, I don't know. I've never seen anybody with all 4 forms of anthrax. Usually they just die with one.
Don't say that.
She's right, but at least all the treatment for all 4 of the forms of anthrax are the same. You'll probably end up getting itchy blisters around the injection site and more black sores like this from your cutaneous anthrax around the injection site, and possibly even one or multiple abscesses underneath the injection site.
And I have all the right IDs?
Yes, you do. We double-checked this time. But you should rest up. I'll put in an order for a mechanical ventilator for your to help you breathe for your injection anthrax, and I'll put in another order for chest drainage tubes to help drain all the fluid building up in there. You still have a long recovery to go, as anthrax takes 60 days. It can take up to 60 days to germinate in your system, so we want to be safe. Rest up, man.
Can do. Thank you for your help.
I don't know if this is the right time to ask, but you have insurance, right?
Oh my gosh, I'd rather die than pay this bill.
In all seriousness, though, the Amerithrax attacks occurred 1 week after September 11th, and then the last person died a little over 2 months after the first letters were mailed. A total of 5 people died and 17 people were injured. I wanted to pay my respects to the 5 people who died, who were Bob Stevens, Thomas Morris Jr., Joseph Kursine, Kathy Nyen, and Attili Lundgren. Even though we never found out who was responsible for the Amerithrax attacks, I hope all their families are doing okay. Thank you for watching my project. It was a very wonderful semester. I learned a lot and had a lot of fun, and I hope you have a good winter break. Thank you.
That's my favorite.
And that's what happens when you have gastrointestinal anthrax. Yeah, take a fat. Oh!
Yep, just as I expected. Anthrax.
Anthrax?
You see.
We also need a strong antibiotic too, like doxycycline or ciprofloxacin. We need to keep them on that for 30 days because anthrax spores can germinate for a process of
60 days, Dr. Two.
Yeah, seeing if you knew that. Their toxins cause... What did you just do?
I think you stuck him with the wrong needle. Do we want to start over?
No. 5 dead and 17 infected. This is really bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't it make sense?